For years, Americans dreamed of homeownership, the symbol of freedom, stability, and success. But in 2025, that dream is turning into a nightmare for millions. Across the nation, states are quietly raising property taxes, creating a growing crisis for new homeowners and first-time buyers. The U.S. housing market in 2025 is facing an unseen burden: record-high tax hikes that threaten the foundation of the American dream. According to the Tax Foundation, property taxes have surged by an average of 8.7% nationwide in just the past year, with several states seeing double-digit increases. Some officials blame inflation and budget shortfalls, while others point to poor fiscal management. But one fact remains: it's the middle class and first-time buyers paying the price. As home values soar, local governments have found an easy target: the people finally trying to buy. Families who once saw homeownership as stability now face rising mortgage rates, insurance costs, and property tax bills that climb every year. Today on Housing Watch 2025, we reveal the 10 U.S. states dramatically increasing property taxes, where the price of a dream home now comes with a heavy and unexpected cost. Every week, we uncover the truth behind America's housing crisis, exploring how economic policies, migration, and inflation are reshaping the future of homeownership. Let's begin. Number 10. North Carolina. The North Carolina housing market in 2025 is facing a new reality. Once celebrated as one of the South's most affordable states, North Carolina is now seeing property taxes surge at record levels, shaking the very foundation of its growth. For years, families, retirees, and remote workers flocked to Raleigh, Charlotte, and Chapel Hill for low costs and high quality of life. But that advantage is vanishing fast. According to state reports, property taxes in North Carolina have jumped an average of 12% in 2025, with some counties exceeding 15%. Wake, Mecklenburg, and Durham counties, home to the state's fastest-growing cities, have reassessed property values after years of explosive housing development. The result? Thousands of homeowners are watching their annual tax bills double almost overnight. Local governments cite population growth, school funding, and infrastructure costs as the reason behind the hikes. New highways, classrooms, and public safety expansions have stretched local budgets thin, but many residents feel blindsided. Homeowners who moved south for affordable living now say they're paying nearly the same taxes they fled in New York or New Jersey. One Raleigh homeowner summed it up: "I left New Jersey for lower taxes. Now I'm paying almost the same." Experts warn that North Carolina's rapid growth has outpaced its tax system. As property values soar and construction booms, new homeowners are shouldering the biggest financial burden. What was once the nation's go-to destination for affordable living is now facing growing pains, and its low-cost reputation may soon disappear. Number 9. Colorado. The Colorado housing market in 2025 is facing a reality check. Once known for affordable mountain living and breathtaking scenery, Colorado homeowners are now confronting the state's largest property tax increase in more than 40 years. State data shows an average 15% jump statewide, with resort counties like Eagle, Pitkin, and Summit seeing hikes near 20%. And new buyers hit the hardest as homes are reassessed to full market value. Officials blame soaring home prices, inflation, and the expiration of temporary pandemic tax relief programs. Local governments say the extra revenue is needed for wildfire prevention, school funding, and road repairs. But residents argue that Colorado's affordability, and the dream of mountain living, is vanishing fast. In Denver, Colorado Springs, and resort towns like Aspen and Vail, property tax bills have jumped by thousands within a single year. Retirees and middle-income families alike are struggling to keep up. Even as demand for housing remains strong, many homeowners see the reassessments as fiscal overreach and poor planning. For decades, Colorado represented balance: low taxes, natural beauty, and a high quality of life. But by 2025, that balance has tilted. Rising property taxes, sky-high insurance premiums, and record energy costs have turned the Centennial State into one of the most expensive places to live in the Mountain West. The mountains still shine, But for thousands of Coloradans, the financial climb is steeper than ever. For more insights on how America's most desirable states are pricing out new homeowners, subscribe to Housing Watch, where we uncover the truth behind today's housing market. Number 8. Illinois. The Illinois property tax crisis in 2025 has reached a breaking point. Long known for some of the highest taxes in the U.S., Illinois homeowners, especially new buyers, are now facing record property tax hikes, averaging 14% statewide, the sharpest increase in more than a decade. State officials blame rising school budgets, inflation, and massive pension shortfalls, but for many residents, it feels like a system built to punish new homeowners. In Cook County, home to Chicago, the median annual property tax bill has surged past $9,000, with suburban homeowners paying more than $10,000 in some areas. For many middle-class families, taxes now rival their mortgage payments. The root of the problem lies in the reassessment system. When a property sells, its taxable value resets to full market price. Longtime owners enjoy caps that limit annual increases, while new buyers are hit with the full load. That means two identical homes can have dramatically different tax bills, simply because one changed hands. As a result, families are rethinking their move to the Chicago area, and businesses are fleeing to nearby states like Indiana and Wisconsin, where taxes and utility costs are far lower. Over the past 5 years, Illinois has lost nearly 500,000 residents, with experts citing property taxes as a major factor. Local leaders say the hikes are necessary to cover decades of debt, but frustrated homeowners argue they're being forced to pay for the state's fiscal mismanagement. The Illinois housing market remains strong in some areas, but for many, the American dream of owning a home here now feels like an impossible burden. Number 7. Texas. The Texas housing market in 2025 is redefining what affordable living really means. Long known for freedom, opportunity, and low taxes, the Lone Star State is now facing a new reality. Some of the highest property taxes in the nation, averaging nearly 2% of a home's assessed value. In booming cities like Dallas, Austin, and Houston, new homeowners are being hit the hardest. Local appraisal districts have reassessed thousands of properties at record levels, sending tax bills skyrocketing. Families who bought homes in the past 2 years are now seeing annual property taxes exceeding $12,000 on mid-range houses, double what many expected when they moved in. Texas's tax system offers little protection for newcomers. While longtime residents enjoy limits on annual increases, new buyers are immediately taxed at full market value. The result? Two identical homes on the same street can have tax bills thousands of dollars apart, a growing frustration across suburban neighborhoods. Officials argue rising taxes are needed to fund schools, infrastructure, and emergency services as Texas's population booms. But residents call it an ambush. With home prices still elevated, mortgage rates near 7%, and insurance premiums climbing, Texas homeowners are paying more than ever just to stay afloat. Despite the state's no income tax advantage, many say the math no longer adds up. The Lone Star State still promises opportunity. But in 2025, that opportunity comes at a steep price. For more on how fast-growing states are quietly taxing their way out of affordability, subscribe to Housing Watch, where we uncover the truth behind America's changing housing market. Number 6. Florida. The Florida housing market in 2025 is facing a reality check. Once known as a paradise of sunshine, beaches, and zero income tax, Florida's property taxes are now climbing at their fastest pace in over a decade, turning the dream of homeownership into a financial challenge for thousands of new buyers. According to the Florida Department of Revenue, median property tax bills have surged more than 10% in just 1 year. In hot markets like Miami-Dade, Broward, and Collier counties, skyrocketing home values have pushed annual tax increases into the thousands. The spike comes amid a perfect storm of rising insurance premiums, hurricane recovery costs, and local government debt. While long-term residents are shielded by the state's Save Our Homes law, which caps annual increases, new homeowners aren't so lucky. Once a property sells, its taxable value resets to full market price, leaving newcomers paying double or even triple what their neighbors owe. One Miami homeowner who bought in 2024 now faces an $11,000 annual tax bill, while the identical home next door costs just $5,000 in taxes. For retirees and remote workers who moved south to escape high taxes, the shock has been real. In some coastal counties, insurance and property taxes now rival monthly mortgage payments. Officials defend the hikes as necessary for infrastructure and storm recovery, but many residents call it unfair. As one frustrated homeowner put it, Florida was supposed to be affordable. It's starting to feel like New York with palm trees. Sunshine may still sell the dream, but in 2025, the true cost of living in Florida is rising fast. Number 5. Georgia. The Georgia housing market in 2025 is facing a serious affordability crisis. Once celebrated for low taxes, booming jobs, and affordable homes, Georgia's property taxes are now rising faster than at any point in the past decade, and new homeowners are feeling the squeeze. Since 2020, counties across the state have reassessed property values to plug budget gaps. Atlanta area homeowners have seen average tax hikes of 13% this year, while suburban counties like Fulton, DeKalb, and Cobb report jumps above 15%. For new buyers, the impact is even worse. Each time a home is sold, the taxable value resets to full market price, often 40% higher than before. Locals are calling it the newcomer penalty. With Atlanta home prices up nearly 40% in 5 years and mortgage rates hovering around 7%, affordability is collapsing. The average Fulton County homeowner now pays more than $4,000 a year in property taxes, an enormous increase for a region once hailed as one of the South's most affordable. Officials argue the hikes fund schools, transportation, and public safety, but residents say they're being priced out of their own neighborhoods. Even those moving to outlying areas like Coweta, Henry, and Forsyth counties are finding the same problem: fresh reassessments and higher bills waiting for them. Georgia's economy remains strong, with record corporate investment and construction across metro Atlanta. But beneath the boom lies growing frustration. The dream of affordable Southern living is fading fast. If you want to track how fast-growing states are taxing their way out of affordability, subscribe to Housing Watch, where we uncover the truth behind America's housing divide. Number 4. California. The California property tax crisis in 2025 is exposing deep cracks in the system once seen as a model of stability. For decades, Proposition 13 was praised for protecting homeowners from soaring tax bills. But now, that same law is creating a two-tier property tax system that punishes new buyers while rewarding longtime owners. Under Proposition 13, homes are reassessed at full market value upon sale, meaning new homeowners pay far higher property taxes than their neighbors. With home prices skyrocketing over the past decade, the impact has become severe. According to state data, median property tax bills in California have jumped 11% in just 1 year, and in cities like Los Angeles, San Diego, and San Jose, new buyers are paying twice as much as prior owners for identical homes. For young professionals and first-time buyers, this has turned the dream of California homeownership into a financial struggle. Added costs from school bond surcharges, local assessments, and rising insurance premiums make monthly payments nearly impossible to sustain, even for six-figure earners. Meanwhile, longtime homeowners cling to low assessments, deepening the divide between old and new residents. The problem is no longer just about sky-high home prices. It's about the hidden costs that follow after closing. California's stunning coastline and sunsets still attract millions, but behind the postcard lies a growing economic fault line. The California housing crisis isn't just pricing people out of buying homes. It's reshaping who can afford to stay. If you want to understand how Proposition 13 and rising taxes are rewriting the rules of homeownership, subscribe to Housing Watch, where we uncover the truth behind America's most expensive housing markets. Number 3. New Jersey. The New Jersey property tax crisis in 2025 is breaking records and breaking budgets. Long known for high costs, the Garden State now holds the highest property tax rate in America, averaging 2.4% of a home's assessed value. For new homeowners, the situation is even worse. Across suburban counties like Bergen, Monmouth, and Morris, Reassessments tied to rising home values have sent tax bills through the roof. Many first-time buyers who thought they'd finally achieved homeownership are now facing annual property tax bills between $14,000 and $16,000. And that's before utilities, insurance, or maintenance. Local officials cite ballooning school budgets, municipal debt, and pension obligations as the cause. But residents argue the problem is chronic mismanagement and an over-reliance on homeowners to fund local revenue. The result? New Jersey's housing market is cooling fast. Homes are staying on the market longer, sales are slowing, and young families are hesitating to buy. Even lifelong residents who once planned to retire in New Jersey are packing up and heading to Pennsylvania, Delaware, or the Carolinas in search of relief. What frustrates many is the uneven system itself. Two identical homes on the same street can carry drastically different tax bills simply because one sold recently. New buyers are hit hardest with no cap, no protection, and no grace period. New Jersey still offers tree-lined suburbs and scenic shore towns, but beneath its charm lies a financial trap tightening on new homeowners. For many, the American dream here now comes with a price few can afford. Number 2. New York. The New York property tax crisis in 2025 is reshaping one of America's most iconic states. Once seen as the land of ambition and opportunity, New York now ranks among the most heavily taxed states in the nation. Following years of budget deficits, infrastructure decay, and mounting pension debt, lawmakers have rolled out sweeping reassessments that are hitting homeowners hard. According to state data, property taxes in New York have surged by more than 13% in a single year, the steepest increase in over a decade. The impact is most severe in Long Island, Westchester, and the Hudson Valley, where home values are high and local governments face rising costs. In Nassau County, new homeowners now pay an average of $18,000 a year, while in parts of Westchester, annual bills exceed $20,000. Even upstate New York, once considered affordable, is no longer immune. Small towns have adopted market reset clauses that raise property taxes to match full sale prices, a policy that leaves new buyers paying 30% more than the previous owner overnight. Officials say these hikes are needed to fund schools and infrastructure, but residents see them as the last straw. The result is a growing New York exodus. Families are leaving for Florida, the Carolinas, and Pennsylvania, chasing lower taxes and better affordability. Retirees are selling lifelong homes, and young families are moving out before they can buy in. The Empire State still shines with culture and opportunity, but for many, the cost of staying has become too high. Each new tax bill is another reason to go. Number 1. Massachusetts. Topping the list in 2025 is Massachusetts, now the epicenter of America's property tax crisis. Once celebrated for world-class education, innovation, and quality of life, the Bay State is facing a new reality, one defined by soaring housing costs and record-breaking taxes. According to the Massachusetts Department of Revenue, average property tax bills have surged by more than 15% in just 1 year, the largest single-year increase in the state's history. In Boston and its affluent suburbs, the numbers are staggering. Towns like Newton, Brookline, and Wellesley now report median annual property tax bills exceeding $17,000, while new homeowners often pay thousands more after reassessment. The problem lies in how the system works. When a home is sold, its taxable value resets to full market price, wiping out decades of capped assessments. That's created a widening gap between neighbors, where one household might pay half the taxes of another for nearly identical homes. Local officials insist the extra revenue is vital to fund schools, transit, and infrastructure, but many residents say it's pushing them to the brink. Even middle-class families earning six-figure incomes struggle to keep up with taxes, mortgages, and rising insurance premiums. For first-time buyers, the Massachusetts dream often turns into financial strain. From its historic streets to its coastal towns, Massachusetts remains beautiful. But beneath the charm lies a growing warning. The higher the success, the higher the cost of staying. Across America, homeownership is no longer the guarantee of stability it once was. Across America, states desperate for revenue are turning to property taxes as their last lifeline, and new homeowners are paying the price. For lawmakers, it's a challenge of balance. For families, it's a test of endurance. The dream of homeownership isn't gone, but in 2025, it comes with a new reality written in rising costs and shrinking hope. So, what do you think? Is the American dream still alive? Or are we watching it get taxed away? If you found this report eye-opening, don't forget to subscribe, like, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new episode. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, right here on Housing Watch, where every story brings you closer to the truth behind America's housing future.